Hello everyone, this is Ariana Antonio for MIU 1309, and this is my week 1 project review. Really quickly, the app that I made is a movie journal, a place that you can go to log movies after you watch them, whether at home or at the theater. I went ahead and decided to have my feature up first because I figured most of the time that people would be opening this app would be to actually log in a movie. And then after that, they might want to search a movie to see, when they saw it or, remember who they saw it with or how they felt about it. And then there are the options to browse movies by title, date, genre, what they rated it, and which ones they marked as their favorites. I figured kind of all the parameters I put for entering in there, these are the only ones that kind of made sense to search by. So the part of the assignment that was the easiest was probably just kind of adding all this stuff HTML-wise. That's a fairly simple thing to do, and I didn't find it to be very difficult to, add a title and then add some more H3 level titles and that sort of stuff, and add a little search input. That's all really simple HTML stuff. And then I just added some very kind of simple CSS styling to it. Just to keep it simple this week in case anything changes next week when we add the jQuery mobile. I didn't want to have to fix too much stuff. What part of the assignment was most difficult? I would say coming up with my feature up here. In terms of design level and skill-wise and that sort of stuff, I wanted something that looked good and didn't look so, pedestrian and newbie-ish and that sort of stuff. And I kind of feel I'm not 100% happy with how it came out. I feel like a lot of the examples that were in the apps on the go-to training and that sort of stuff just looked a lot more put together and a lot slicker and more polished and that sort of stuff. With my level of skills, I'm happy with what I came up with, but I do feel like it looked a little more professional. I don't know. I'm definitely going to do some more work on it and see if there's anything that I can figure out how to do to make it look a bit better in the future. In terms of previous things that I utilized, I would say actually a lot on the feature, just in terms of, creating this with Illustrator, making a vector image so I could easily resize it to make sure that it was the right size for my app. Originally, I had a lot more text in here, and it kind of ended up looking, this was shifted down over this, and it ended up looking cluttered and not quite as readable. And after, kind of creating it and then looking it over a bit, using some of the stuff learning from MMD2 last month and that sort of stuff to see that design-wise it wasn't quite working. It wasn't as readable and simple and clear. So I ended up cutting a lot out and just keeping it as simple as possible to tell you kind of what the app does. In terms of researching, I didn't really research too much this week. Most of it was just that when I created my search input, I wanted it to say search movies, and the initial way that I knew how was to make the value search movies, but then when you click into it, you have to delete out search movies, and I didn't want that. I wanted the grayed out look where it's not actually in there, and it, sort of gets rid of it when you start typing as opposed to having to delete out a value. So I had to research the placeholder value in HTML, which was really simple, super fast, easy, quick little thing. And then a couple other little things I had to look up, like how to reset my image was not coming out the right size, so I had to look for CSS-wise how to, change the size of the image within the app as opposed to constantly changing it within Illustrator. Again, that was a really simple, kind of easy thing to look up. The only aha moment I really had this week, again, since, we weren't learning a lot new code-wise at least, although a lot of really, really useful information design-wise, would be I kind of figured out how, after watching the JavaScript videos, how I can change my movie rating bar to a series of 5 stars to rate it. So that's going to take quite a bit of coding to kind of figure out and work out, but, I think that I can do it, and from watching the video with Simon, who's awesome, I think I might have figured that out. And then I think that's it for my questions. I did just want to show one more thing that I did implement. When you click on these, it does take you right now to a dummy page since there's nothing to include. So anyway, so that's this, Ariana Antonio, and this is my Project 1 review. Thanks so much. Bye.